Good evening, everybody. Glad to see that you're all here dry. I had it stopped just in time for the meeting. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And we'll have Dave, our leaving finance director, lead.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Always feels good not to have a moment of silence. Oh, that's true. And I think he was so actually, I speak foolishly as always. Can we please rise in remembrance of Barry Lowe, who was a former zoning board member? He passed away yesterday, he passed away. Thank you. As you all know, this is not a full-time job. So we shuffle our lives and come in and you get what you get. So we have our opening public comment period where it allows anyone from the public who wants to address an issue or bring attention to the council on an issue, something that we don't know but we can't take action on, but we will know what your issue is. Hearing none, we'll just move right along. Next, we have interviews, discussion and potential action on the Associate Municipal Court Judge. So what I'm thinking we should do, since there was no applicant, and since our solicitor and his team fill in when Mr. Rago can't, Judge Rago, what I recommend at this time, if it's okay with you, Mr. DeSisto, is we stop advertising. And if it's, again, okay with you, I'll put another burden on you and ask you to continue filling in on this position when needed.
We've been doing it, we'll continue to do it.
Thank you so much.
Make a motion, we appoint,
No, we're just gonna fill in when needed. And if we, and if Anthony's going to try to network and see if somebody wants to be the associate, and it's just easier that way. Next we have, we've already interviewed, Lenasia, and she wants to be on the 250th Commission. Is she here this evening? She doesn't have to be. We interviewed her last month, and I think we should move her right on. I'm sure she has enough time because I think she was asked to go to one of the meetings.
She did in fact attend the
Excellent.
last meeting.
How'd
with-
that go?
Apparently she was very engaged and contributed, so I would make a motion to appoint her to the 250th Commission, and if she feels it's more than she wants to do, we can remove her.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have the acceptance of the June 10th and the acceptance of the June 25th special scheduled meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the June 10th?
So moved.
actually, it says that I was present.
Yeah, I wasn't present either. So I
didn't
I
even
would
know.
have to recuse. So the other three members, would you
Wow.
please take an action?
I'll second Councilman Rigo's motion.
With the amendment that neither one of you were.
Are we on the 10th or the special?
The special meeting, if we're on the 10th, that was the regularly scheduled meeting.
Oh, I was there? That was the night I
Yeah.
came? Oh,
John was not there.
Yeah, I was.
So
I've been doing this too long. I don't even know when I'm here and when I'm not. Okay, so John wasn't here. We'll correct that in the minutes and I can vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have the special meeting that I wasn't at, that I know. And Mr. Hanley, you weren't there either.
Correct.
The minutes accurate?
yes,
Is there a
Make a
motion?
motion to
accept?
approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving right along. We have our consent agenda. All the items with an asterisk are considered to be routine. Is there and those are on P1, P2, P3, and page 4 and 5. Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have an ordinance, chapter 18, streets and sidewalks. This is the second reading. Things can be changed if need be. Mr. Wheeler?
Yeah, I guess there was some questions last month when I wasn't here, so I'm here to answer them. I believe there was questions about kind of putting a burden on homeowners that might be doing some utility work. This was only addressing the utility companies and the patches that they do based on we took out one section that was telling them that they only had to go about a foot past the trench that they were digging, and added a section that's telling them they have to go curb to curb, or it will be determined by the public works at the time. So there is a little bit of a section in there and an out that gives us some leeway, but this is focusing strictly on the utility patchwork that we get that kind of draws that line down the middle of the road, plus services off of that. So this is for all that utility work that's kind of being scheduled in town.
Excellent. Any questions?
Does that actually covers the subcontract?
Yeah,
Sewer
yeah,
department doesn't
yeah,
bring
so-
Their own ladders, they hire it out.
Right, and then this would be in the permit when we hand it out to them, that they will know ahead of time that they are doing curb to curb repave, or we will work with the company if it doesn't require it at the time. You know, if they only do one side of the road and the road's fairly new, we may not require the whole curb to curb, just for savings of cost to everybody involved, so.
Well, whatever's in the best interest of the road.
Correct,
And
yeah,
if-
and we have some coming work in the next couple years here that will, the best interest of those roads will be to to
We
do.
want a good patch and that's all we're looking for.
Yes.
Brian, one of
Well,
my biggest concerns, we spend a fortune on these sidewalks, especially on Main Street, that the work is done in like kind. To me, that's very important.
Yep, and I did add this section, all repairs shall be constructed to match existing material used as confirmed by the Director of Public Works. We're actually dealing with that right now with two projects that were done on Joyce and Main and Market Street. Those are gonna be updated to be the correct concrete patchwork.
I have some to add on Water Street and other streets. And if anybody knows of a repair that was done in, like, say you have a concrete sidewalk, the repair is done in asphalt, please call that in. Town Manager's Office, 245-7554. It's important because it's the rules and we want to keep like kind. So, any other questions?
So to that point, so if somebody makes a cut, don't they have to get a permit?
Correct.
All right, so you.
Permits on state roads will go to the state. So I don't get to see what cuts are coming on the state roads because I don't see those permits. But typically we will address that with the utility company and or contractor when we see them saying, you have to make sure this is a like repair, or we will contact the state.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, some have fallen through the cracks. And I know where they are and we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I do think we've done that corrections in the past. The Water Authority comes right out and does the repair for us. So
The Water Authority just did, I believe, like 5 on Child Street that they
Nice.
just updated. So,
all right,
um,
so we'll stay on top of that. Are there any other questions?
Make the motion, we approve the chapter 18, streets and sidewalks.
Okay, and Mr. DeSisto, that language we were looking for is now in here?
Correct.
Thank you.
Second,
All in favor?
all right.
Okay, moving on. We have the repeal of Chapter 7, Finance and Taxation. This is the second reading. And this is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which we no longer deem applicable because we don't have any money.
You don't have any funds. That's why it's being you're repealing the statute and the ordinance and also the group itself because there's no funding.
And all we need to do is this
Approve.
repeal, so just simply approve.
Yes, it's in the form of an ordinance, but it's deleting the section.
Are there any
Make a
other
motion.
questions of the solicitor?
Make a motion to repeal.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Oh, please, Mr. Trombley.
And I think this was made a great point by you, Mr. President, at the previous council meeting. This does not mean, of course, that Warren does not care about affordable housing. It's only that this is procedural aspects because the entity that was set up to handle at the time funds that we had from the federal government due to COVID no longer exists. Therefore, it is no longer appropriate to have that. And it really confuses things to have too many rules and regulations on the book. Helps us, and this will help us, in fact, get things done, we think. Thank you.
Thank you for that explanation. Next, we have Old Business 3, Chapter 12, Motor Vehicles and Traffic. First reading, operation of vehicles, one-way streets designated. So we have Company Street westerly from Main Street to Westminster, Fairview Avenue northerly from Laurel Lane to Harding Avenue, Union Street northerly from Miller Street to Main Street.
yep. So these are items that the Company Street and Union Street, you've kind of already voted on making us make those one ways. So this
Yes.
is codifying it in the ordinance. And then Fairview Avenue has been historically one way for years. It already has one-way signs on it and do not enter signs on it. And we just wanted to make sure that it was actually in the ordinance instead of changing that around now because it's been a common practice as a one-way.
Why are we doing it if it's been a one-way? I think 25 years now.
It's just not in the ordinance. So
It
we're
was
just
never put in the ordinance.
putting it in to make it legal.
So if someone were to actually get a ticket on that street and challenge it, they would be let go because it's not ordained.
Like right now, Union Street, I noticed there was 2 cars parked the wrong way. So until we approve this, they actually are legal, even though the sign's there?
That's correct, yeah.
Interesting.
It's
This is a house.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that it's necessarily legal or illegal. They're going the wrong way. Now that it's codified, it then is in the books. And then if something happens. So, yeah,
No, chiefs, okay with public safety? Both of the chiefs, yeah, no issues?
I hope not. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's the first reading, and if anything needs.
So it's not a, you could still park illegally till next month, correct?
Technically,
You
yeah.
know, this is good. You learn so much in this job because if I ever get a ticket, I'm gonna ask, can I see the ordinance?
There you go.
Good to know.
Next, we have old business 4, chapter 12, motor vehicles and traffic, first reading. Laurel Lane, both sides from Monroe Avenue easterly to the end of the road.
This was brought up that there are currently signs that say no parking either side. We had looked at, in the traffic commission, we looked at removing those signs, but after investigating it with the fire chief and police chief and the town manager, we actually think it's best to keep it as no parking on both sides due to the sheer size of the street. It's not wide enough for parking on one side and a fire apparatus to get down the street safely. So this would just be, again, codifying signs that have been there for years.
Was this tied in with
Yes.
that mooring thing that was going on?
This was tied in with that.
Brought it up?
Yep.
Okay, I'm saying it sounds very.
Mr. McGreevy brought these issues forward.
Yep.
So, explanation is there. Any additional questions?
Make a motion, we approve, no parking on Laurel Lane on both sides from one avenue easterly to the end of the road.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a public hearing.
Joe, I'm gonna have to recuse myself. I'm a butter.
Okay,
You've got your note about
I get
P8,
this, that's what I'm
P9.
trying to get behind.
yes. I don't, but thank you for reminding me. So we're going to combine P1 and which number? P8?
P8 and P9.
Oh, P8 and P9, not this one.
Yeah,
it this one?
PH1 will be combined with
P8.
P8 and P9. Yeah,
Correct, sorry. So yeah, is there a motion to that?
Motion.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So this is possibly exciting news.
Yeah.
Let's hear what, so you own Dell's.
Sure. So my name's Aaliyah Johnson, and alongside my business partner, Debbie Gaudette, we are the proud owners of Wilma and Basil's Counter, a new retro sandwich shop with a speakeasy that we plan to open at 8 Turner Street. Some of you may recognize us for the work of revitalizing the building that is now known as Dell's Depot. With Wilma and Basil's, we hope to continue that mission to breathe life back into overlooked spaces and to create safe, vibrant gathering spaces for the people of Warren and beyond. Wilma and Basil's is named in honor of our silent partners' grandparents, 2 people whose legacy of warmth and hospitality we intend to carry on. By day, the space will serve as a classic deli counter, offering traditional and specialty sandwiches with a sense of nostalgia. By evening, Thursday through Sunday, we'll transition into Basil's back room, a cozy speakeasy style lounge offering small bites, local and imported beer, thoughtfully crafted cocktails, including zero-proof options, and the same inclusive atmosphere that defines our daytime service. We do understand as news of this started to spread, it brought up some concerns, so I'd like to speak to those directly. Alcohol being served along the East Bay bike path. We will only be serving alcohol in the evenings, Thursday through Sunday, and never during daytime service. Alcohol will only be served to Basil's backroom patrons and not sandwich shop patrons. Concerns about noise. Under our entertainment license, we intend to host only occasional small performances and will not occur past 9 p.m. Operating hours will conclude at 10 p.m. This will not be a late night establishment. Also, the notion of just another bar. Basil's backroom is not that. Yes, we will serve alcohol, but the focus is on connection, creating space for meaningful conversations, shared meals, and new memories. This will be a calm, curated atmosphere, not a bar, but a lounge with intention. So we're proud to be part of this town and excited to contribute something unique and welcoming to the community. We hope you'll support our vision just as you have in the past and allow Wilma and Basil's Counter to become the next chapter in Warren's story of revitalization and community care.
Okay, who wants to go first? Mr. Hanley.
8
Hi.
Turner Street, which
It's
one is that? Is that?
The Edible Arrangements
Oh, so it
building,
is
so
a-
it's directly across the street from us.
Okay. Well, no, but I know edible arrangement.
I didn't know that
I didn't know that they were vacant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're closing at the end of this month and continuing on with their other two franchises and closing this one down.
Mr. Jolly, any questions? Ms.
Sure,
Cronin?
sure. So I'm glad you addressed the sort of the idea of the alcohol being served right on the bike path, and I think you very well explained what your intention is as far as the vibe and the, you know, how it's going to feel in there. What's the square footage in there? Like, how many seats, how many people can you fit inside, or will it be inside and outside?
Yeah.
Just because knowing that building, I have no idea or of how it is inside. How much work are you gonna do to it? And when do you think you might be open?
So the building itself is way larger than it seems from Child Street. The part of the building that's parallel to the bike path will be the sandwich shop area. We will be hopefully breaking down some walls and moving things back. The part of the building that's parallel to Child Street that has the like the 80s window blocks on it, that will be the Basil's back room. Based on having a contractor look at it, we'll decide on how big that space will be, depending on whether we can push out a wall that we're currently looking at. Again, they occupy the space till the end of the month, so we won't be taking over or starting any renovations until August.
And then
John.
we hope to open the sandwich shop relatively quickly, and then the speakeasy will be a slower process.
Thank you. Mr. Hanley, building official. How is the occupancy? How does that process work
It's
out?
based on the square footage, you can be 15 square foot for standing room, or if you got tables and chairs, I believe it's, I've got it backwards. It's 7. It's based on how many square feet of actual space where the patrons can be.
So that will be dictating your areas may be planned out now, but the code.
We have an idea of the space that we would like to create. However, we're obviously willing to work with whatever space we can work with. Again, this is not going to be like 50 people hanging out in a bar. It's really about connection and community. And that's what we really want to carry through from Dells to there.
You don't want to limit yourself. So I think
Correct.
once you meet with Mr.
the
Cabral
fire
and
code
and the
addresses
fire
well.
official and your plan, your blueprint, it'll all come to hand. And
Okay.
Sure.
it's better to play it out that way first, then figure out how you want to do it. So get your occupancy and capacities.
Yeah, we haven't done anything really in depth until we know whether
Right.
we're getting a liquor license, because if we don't get the liquor license, that building will sit.
Well, the other thing I wanted to add, because I like to make sure that all of our applicants know, you want to limit your hours, that's fine. We're not going to be putting restrictions on your hours because we have faith in you that you're going to be a good business and you're going to conduct yourself the way you should, but your license will allow you to do what the license allows.
Right.
So the limitations on your part, that's fine. I always try to change people's minds because sometimes they come in and they think if they tell us less, they'll get it. We probably have a better shot of getting it
Yeah.
and saying that your business model will be good and fit the capacity and the hours that your occupants want to enjoy.
And that's something we're definitely open to. I've just been in the hospitality industry pretty much my entire life and lived that late night bar life. And that's not something that we're necessarily interested in
Right.
doing. But if it's something that our patrons are looking for,
I know.
there's a possibility.
I'm not necessarily saying
Right.
open up a bar. What I am saying is, please don't ask for limitations.
Yeah.
Take your
Okay.
license.
I would be comfortable making a motion with not putting an occupancy load on it. Let the
Right,
fire, let the fire and building codes determine.
That's where I'm going with
What the
all of
odds?
this.
Yeah,
Because
and we're fine with that.
those will dictate, even though you said you will glad to work with,
Mhm.
you will work with
Right.
those
Right. Yeah,
compliances. And so
absolutely.
that's all I like to bring. It's not a negative, it's a
Right.
positive, and that goes with the license as well. If you guys are in there and you're doing well at 11 o'clock, do it.
I have another question.
So go right ahead.
So this is possibly more for you, Mr. DeSisto, or maybe for Mr. Cabral. Is the use as they want to use it for both food service and the service of alcohol, does that require any kind of change of use from how it exists right now?
The proposal would require a special use permit from the zoning board in any other zoning relief that would be necessary for this particular use. I understand they wanted to make sure that they could get the liquor license first, and that's fine. But they still need approval from the zoning board for this proposal.
And you know that, did you know that
So
coming
we're
into
both
this?
Actually, designers by trade,
Okay.
and what we went through with Dell's was just one small version of what we're gonna
Okay.
go through. We understand.
You understand the process.
Yes.
Right.
I've been
Did not
in
know
design-
surprising.
We've been in
No.
design and construction. I've been in it for like 40 years, so
Okay.
I like the real estate part. She likes the restaurant part, so.
Mhm.
Together we make a good team, but yes, I'm aware of and I know everyone here from going with.
Sounds good.
so we
I mean,
wanna be-
everything you're doing sounds great to me.
And we just
Thank you.
passed our inspection for a secret health inspection and we got a 99, and it's a little soon to talk about that 1 point, don't ask. But 99, and that was so that's how we do things, her and I both, and that's the only way I do it is do things right. So as far as what you guys want and what the city wants, it's what I want.
There you go.
And yeah,
Mr. Travely?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, wait, Ms. Cronin
Oh,
wasn't
right ahead.
finished.
I just wanted to say one more thing. So, with that said, you know what your next step is, provided that we do
absolutely.
Correct.
approve your BV license tonight. And I will just make the statement because I have had people come to me and they say, I am concerned about this. What is this? Is this going to be yet another loud, falling out the door kind of place? Because, as the summer season of, having fun is upon us, and it's great, and Warren's a destination, and I think I might have something to do with that. There's the other side of it where, we have to make sure that everybody can peacefully coexist and that we're not approving
sure.
something that's going to end up causing
Totally
people,
understand.
it's going to take away from their quality of life if they live in the general vicinity.
So this is not my first actually bar on the bike path. In Riverside, I designed Union Bar and Burrito and operated that for a year before I passed it back on to the owner of the building. So I fully understand about being in a community and making sure we're being respectful. We had tenants above us. We have no intention on creating any type of friction with our neighbors or anything like that. That's not who we are, and it's not what we're about.
Good.
Mr. Travely?
I just want to say first, I know you guys came into Dell's Depot and you definitely, I thought it was the best Dell's in the state, and you certainly invested a lot into that to add the side window, which improves it a heck of a lot. And I know that you've invested a lot into it. And, it's really great to see you guys came in, you invested more, and you've had success, and now you're looking to expand that. I'm very glad to see that. And I hope that your experience has been pretty positive thus far. My only question is, this is sort of a landlocked business because it's between Market Street on one end and Child Street on the other. Both of them get pretty heavy traffic, and the parking's always an issue downtown, as you know. So I'm curious, what do you think the split will be between folks that you get from the bike path versus folks that you think will be driving and parking versus folks that are walking from downtown?
I think the majority of the service for the sandwich shop will be from bike path
Mhm.
customers and also local business owners that I can't tell you how many times a day people ask, is there a good sandwich shop around when they're riding down the bike path? And we obviously say, no, there's not like one right on the bike path for them to
Right.
experience. So I think the majority of our customers for the sandwich shop will be bike path and walking customers. And I think that for the lounge and bar itself, will be customers either walking or driving.
Excellent. Well,
And we have parking in the front and back, and we'll obviously reallocate that parking lot so people can utilize it properly.
Mr. Hanley?
Oh,
Oops, sorry.
Sorry.
But all right.
More?
I was just gonna ask, there's a couple new businesses going in around that corner. I think Fairy Tea Room is expanding. It's also offering alcoholic beverages as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Beer and wine.
Beer and wine.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with some of the businesses that are going in around there? And do you think it'll be competitive? Would it be too much? What are you thinking?
No, I actually know the owners of Fairy Tea Room. They're customers of ours. We know the owners of Market Street Pub and also the new coffee shop that's opening up. I don't know what name they chose for it. But we are pretty friendly with all of our neighbors. I don't think it's going to be in competition. Again, what we're doing is really just about community gathering. It's not really centered around the alcohol piece of it. And Fairy Tea Room's business is a completely different business model. So I don't think it will be in competition per se.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
Mr.
I have
Hanley.
one question for the clerk, and depending on an answer, I think I'm ready to make a motion. Do we have a BV license available? Okay,
It's a public hearing.
Correct. So his motion will
would be
will be
close-
at, well, first we're gonna ask the public. I got this.
Yeah.
Is there any members of the public that would like to address this? Please feel free, come on down. Yes, please feel free to come on down.
Space to be vacant.
Oh,
My name is Matthew King and I reside at 7375 Child Street, which is kitty corner, I guess you would say, to the property in question. I generally am in support of the victualling license. What little information we've been given tonight is all the information that we have at this point. I did raise the question of whether or not we're getting the cart before the horse as it relates to the zoning issues, because they're committed to talking about layout, parking, all the kind of the minutia associated with it, and I'll have an opportunity to respond to that at that point. As regards the liquor license, I do have some concerns. If the liquor license was to be contained within the building with no outside alcohol service, as a resident, I would be fine with that. As far as the hours are concerned, it's a pretty quiet neighborhood after 8 o'clock. And I don't think, I've talked to several abutters who chose not to come tonight, but they did express concern about the fact that we would like, as neighbors, to have a quiet neighborhood, because it's pretty loud during the day with motorcycles and cars and a lot of bike path activity. And we just want to relax at some point. So as far as the hours concerned, I would be comfortable with 9. I would be uncomfortable with 10, and certainly any later than that, I would not be comfortable with. And as far as the liquor, because this is all one petition. I'm correct, victualling,
Will be
liquor.
voted on.
well,
And entertainment.
they're all gonna be voted on individually. What
All
we
right.
did was move them up from spaced out on the
All right,
agenda.
so we're addressing all those issues right now.
Correct.
All right, so as it relates to the entertainment license, if it's confined to within the building, I'm fine with that. However, if they choose to go outside, I would have a real issue with that. In addition to being a resident there, I conduct business as the Box East Bay. I have a history with Dell's Lemonade, and they have had single-day licenses for entertainment, and they have been in conflict with my business. So they're very loud, unresponsive to, and not very conscientious to the point where you have to ask for them to turn it down. So I can't conduct my business appropriately. So if that's a track record, I want that to be noted, that if they come back and request any outdoor entertainment, that I would be first in line to object to that. Inside, not a problem. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Come on down.
Good evening, Jim Core, 82 Market Street.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to say anything about this particular application until the gentleman just before me spoke. I can see Dell's, I'm sorry, I can see the location for the proposed site from my front porch. And I rise in support. Their opening day at Dell's was the day that I moved to town. They've been welcoming, they've been kind, they've really, I've noticed over the last 2 years how that spot has really been livened up, and really has brought some quality and character to the town. As a cyclist, and the bike path is one of the reasons that brought me to Rhode Island, I remember walking around, riding around my first day here and they're like, oh, where can I get lunch? And there was no place to get lunch on a Monday in May of 2022. I think they run a quality business. I applaud what they're proposing and hope that the town council will look favorably upon the application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? Okay,
I just want to clarify with the solicitor.
please.
The application that is in front of us does not state anything about outside dining. I know the laws have changed with the take it outside, and when COVID went through, they bumped that all up. Has that been rescinded? My question is, would they have to come back to us to go to outside dining, eating, and liquor sales?
Based on the status of the things, they do have outdoor seating, a request for outdoor seating, and I assume that includes service of food.
Okay.
And that's why they have to get permission for that. It's not by right, not now. That was during COVID time.
So if we approve this, we're approving the outside area as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm assuming that they were asking for outdoor seating and that they want outdoor service there too.
Can we ask?
There's nothing here about outdoor,
I didn't. see
Please
anything.
come
is there?
clear
I
up,
didn't see anything on any of my.
clear up any
So for-
issue that you need to address.
Sure. So for outdoor seating, it would only be for the sandwich shop. So we removed the picnic tables already from the Child Street side of the building. They're actually over at Dell's at this point. So those are gone. We have no intention of having seating there as of right now. And the seating for the sandwich shop would be out on the bike path. As far as the speakeasy, we're not looking to do any entertainment or outdoor seating regarding that. We would want to contain it inside in respect for our neighbors.
So the request for the outdoor seating.
There
which
there is nothing on it. All
Which
three of these
P9?
applications.
Oh, P9.
P9,
Is it
music,
included in
three-person
P8?
band. Doesn't say anything about outdoor seating.
Yeah, it's just the entertainment, and we have, again, 1 to 3 people performing all indoors, nothing outside.
So is another request required? I mean, the existing with edible arrangements, they have the benches.
The picnic
outside.
tables on the
The
bike path
picnic
side of the
tables.
business. Yeah.
So that's been there for so long. I have no idea whether that was just put out there or approved. But do we need to approve
Well,
outdoor seating
or
through
just-
another?
If
We're
we
look-
just approve the liquor license for no outdoor seating specifically, that would limit it to, so they.
Well,
I'm not talking about the liquor license at this point. I'm just the
Yes,
victualling.
it's procedural, yes.
Okay.
And Mr. DeSisto is double checking.
Yes, I beg your pardon. I was looking at another item, but if there was to be outdoor seating, they would need to get permission from that, the zoning board first. But the service outside, that would be part of the victualling license. So I'm assuming that if the zoning board approves this outdoor seating, then they can go back to you to expand the victualling license if you approve it tonight.
So I'm sure you're gonna have blueprints and plans and
Correct.
have detailed drawings.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the business in front of us tonight is number 1. We have a Class BV beverage license that's being asked for to go along with the business, as well as the victualling license. These will all be separate. So is there a motion to allow them
We
to?
need to
I'd make
close the.
Oh, I'm
public
sorry.
hearing.
Yeah, we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we can conduct the business of the license.
I would,
Mr. Hanley.
I'd like to make a motion to approve and ask the clerk not to issue until fire, police, and zoning have cleared it, the Class B beverage license for
Wilma and Basil's
yeah, for
counter.
8 Turner Street.
Is
So
there a,
that's subject to all state and local
Correct,
requirements.
yeah.
correct. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd also
Okay.
like to make a motion to approve P8 request for a victualling license pending all state and local improvement
Second.
requirements.
Correct. And there's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd also like to approve the yearly entertainment license for 8 Turner Street pending all local and state requirements.
Inside only.
I'll second that.
I'll put inside only in my motion.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
There you have it. Good
Thank you
luck.
so much. We appreciate it.
Take care. Next, we have public hearing 2, request and a welcome back for a Class BV beverage license, Sea Oats LLC. Hello.
Mr. President, would it also be appropriate to combine that with P10?
Oh, yes, thank you. And that's in the form of a motion.
I'll make a motion to that
I'll
effect.
second.
All in favor?
Second.
Okay, so we'll be doing both of your issues at once.
Yes.
Give us a little history on what's going on.
So in 2014, my wife and I opened a restaurant called Metacom Kitchen at 322 Metacom Avenue. We renovated it. It was formerly Tinker's Nest. And then we ran it for about 8.5 years. After that time, I had an offer with some of my partners from another project I had worked on prior to Metacom to be an operating partner at another property. I felt I wanted to try something different. And so I've been there for about 1.5 years. And honestly, I've missed Metacom since I closed it. So we had the property on the market, had a couple offers, decided not to sell it after about 1 year. And I hope to resume operations in the fall.
Okay, you had a stellar track record.
Thank you.
The kitchen's calling you. Any questions?
Same type of menu.
It's the same. Well, the menu at Metacom always changed.
Right.
Which is part of what I was a little tired after 8 years of that, but I found that I actually missed the intensity of it. So I'm excited to come back to it, and a lot of my staff wants to come back. And every time I would see somebody, some regulars that would come into the property I'm at now, they would say, "Oh, I miss Metacom," and I felt the same way. So I would love to have the opportunity to resume.
How soon could you get it up and running?
Well, I have a commitment through the end of the summer. I'm at a very busy restaurant in Newport, and we're training staff to operate that in my absence. So I'll be there on a very limited basis in the fall, and I hope to open Metacom by mid-September.
Great. Any other questions?
No.
Mr. Hanley?
I'll-
Oh, wait, we have to, any questions from the public? It's a public hearing. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Mr. Hanley?
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Okay,
I'll also make a motion that we approve the BV license with instructing the clerk not to issue until all local and state requirements have been met.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And also, P10 here, let's make a
P10.
motion, we approve the vitrilling license for 322 Metacom Avenue and ask the clerk not to issue until all state and local requirements have been met.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have P6, which is a request for a tattoo license. And this is an Active Beauty by, is it Mina or Mira? Hi, come on down. How are you? So where do you want to, 654 Medicum Avenue?
Yeah,
And that's where you'll be having the tattoo
yeah,
parlor?
it's a basement.
It's what?
It's a half basement.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
Yes, it's the old East Bay Chamber.
Oh, yeah, I know that location. Excellent. And there's parking right out front. Are there any questions?
You might know it as the ice cream place, Joe.
Yeah, or the, isn't it the A-frame or is that
Yeah,
next
yeah,
to the
yeah.
A-frame?
So
We know where you are now.
we're-
Ms. Cronin.
you're requesting a tattoo license, but you also have, you will have your own business
Yeah,
there.
correct.
So
Oh, that's just tattoo. It's like it's not body tattoo. It's more like eyebrow and eyeliner beauty tattoo.
Oh,
Not body tattooing.
Okay.
There's other tattoo artists upstairs. So we do different procedure.
okay.
Yeah.
And you have been doing this type of work for a period of time?
Yeah. Also, yeah, in that place.
At all? You've been working in this industry for a long time?
Oh, about 3-4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also I'm a makeup artist for commercial and weddings about 20 years. So, I'm in beauty industry over 21 years.
Okay.
So you have experience.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
I know tattoo needs police check or something, doesn't it?
Well, I think the only relevant issue side is two things. First is Do you have your health department certificate?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And the second thing is that it does have to be approved by the chief of police, and the is required to investigate, ascertain. I'm quoting from section 11-338. The chief of police shall investigate to ascertain if the applicant is a person of good moral character.
You
So
know,
we need to hear from the chief.
who put all of this pressure on the tattoo industry?
Some old guy.
On that,
Okay.
I will make a motion. We approve the tattoo license for Artist of Beauty by Mina Campos.
Thank you so
And
much.
this is not for the ink tattooing. This is rather for these other cosmetological procedures that you're using.
Yeah, I use ink, but it's not like a body. It's like eyebrows and eyeliner. It's like machine tattooing.
Correct.
So you are getting a tattoo, it's on your eyebrows and stuff.
Correct.
Do we need to limit that? That would be limited by the state license, yeah.
Yeah,
So we don't need to limit that.
I got it. Close.
okay.
It's more like a lot of alopecia patients.
Yeah, but it's the same license.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
can do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
He's very, I don't know.
Okay.
Second the motion.
Here you go. He's very thorough.
Hurry up and vote before you add something else.
We have a second on the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're there. You can do it.
Good
Thank you
luck.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSisto, I have to, because that was on the page where we had the consent agenda items, and there was a change to the Holy Ghost Feast. Do we have to change our motions, or
No.
that we approved that? Because we do have the information, and I'm sure that's what we knew we were voting
Do you
on.
want to, do we need to add it to the?
I don't believe so. He says that's just.
Do we
a
need to
change.
vote? Okay,
We already voted.
last month, yeah.
No,
Yep.
on the consent agenda.
Oh, okay.
So
all right,
we're all
yep.
set. I just forgot to add that. You know how thorough I am as well. I may be getting my eyebrows tattooed.
You're gonna look beautiful.
Oh, Joe.
You need something.
Maybe just a little Bell's lemonade will work.
Now we have Sydney Carbone. Where is she? You know, I hope we become the tattoo capital of Rhode Island. I think we're
We
close.
just went to P7.
P7.
So now we're on P7, request for a tattoo license, 1001 Troubles Tattoo. Hi,
Hi.
what do you want to do?
I'd like a tattoo license.
Okay, will you be doing eyebrows?
Oh, I'm doing like body art,
Okay.
body tattoos. Yeah.
So you're currently an apprentice.
I have my license with the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you will be working out of 1001 Troubles. Okay.
Mr. DeSisto.
What happens now is that the regulatory scheme by the state, by the way, the tattoo parlor has a license. 1001 does have one. And then each one of the tattoo artists also needs a license. And again, Department of Health is approved because you have a state license. That's from the Department of Health. And the only other thing that's needed before you vote on this is the chief has to attest to your good moral character.
All right.
Let's see.
That's the moral character.
Tony, quick question. We got two chiefs in the house. Which one were you talking to?
Chief of Police.
Specifically for Chief Boyd.
Okay.
It's in the law. So is there a motion?
I will make a motion, we approve the tattoo license for Sydney Carbone. I don't need to say apprentice because she's a fully licensed tattoo artist.
Correct.
As
Yeah.
apprentice in there?
Correct.
For Sydney Carbone at 464 Main Street.
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to
I think we're jumping to
P11.
Yeah.
Request for a victualling license, Main Street Crepe Company. Is Tracy Woodward here? Hi, come on down. You get to suffer just like everyone else.
Is this for P11 and P12?
Yes,
Excuse me, I'll make a motion to combine P11 and P12.
thank you. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
There you go. Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing, where you're going, and what you want to do.
So, I am looking to, get a victualling license at 438 Main Street for the place that is currently Happy Place Creperie.
Okay.
It's a few doors down from actually, my coffee shop, my current coffee shop, Tracy's Cream and Sugar. The gentleman who owns it right now, an extremely nice man, has had it for about 4 years, moving back to be with his family in Europe. And he's approached me and was like, hey, I think this might be an opportunity for you. I think, you do well here and so forth. So I at first was like, I have 2 other shops within like, a quarter mile. And I thought this is crazy. And then I started to explore it. And I kind of really find that he's built something that people like a lot, not only for the quality of the food, but also for the quality of the customer service. And I really pride myself on our customer service. I think that's something I really like to offer the community, is like some places to go that offer. We do sweets at my bakery and coffee and breakfast sandwiches and so forth at the shop. And I thought this is just kind of another nice opportunity to welcome what has become my, I love Warren. I didn't grow up here. I just moved here a few years ago, but I grew up down the street, and I think it's just become the greatest little town. And I just like to, put a little bit more out there. And I think I'd love to kind of carry on what he's doing under a little bit of a different name, because I want to give a little shout out to something that's special to me, and I wanted to go from there. So
what's that, Main Street?
yeah, so the reason is I would call it Main Street Crepe Company is because I'm a Disney fanatic. And if you're familiar with Disney, it's all Main Street USA.
Oh.
And that's obviously we're on Main Street, and it would have a little bit of a Disney flair to it. So it's
You know best.
You got all the Disney characters sitting right up here.
I mean, and here you all are now.
Grumpy,
So-
sleepy, we got them all.
Yeah, so it's like something that's special to me.
Don't.
So any questions? Mhm.
Tracy, I just want to make sure you are of sound mind and body, and that you have got good moral character, because I'm questioning it right now.
You are not the only one.
I trust you know what you're doing, but that's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
When do you anticipate the changeover will happen? Will you be doing any redecorating? You'll keep it kind of.
Marginally. I don't look to change it too much. However, I do want to change a little bit, like the signage and so forth, but keep it within that framework. The menu is going to be similar with some additional flair of ours and so forth. Mostly the inside, there's really not going to be a lot of change in the way that we present the shop at first. I think that he has a lot, people like him, people like what he does. And I don't really see any reason to recreate the wheel there. But I do love to, I love to create, I love food, I love to like do stuff like that. So I will have it, and I'll put my own flair on it, especially eventually.
And when do you think you'll be taking over?
Probably, the August 1st is our lease, is when we're supposed to start the lease. So, very soon. If all goes according to plan, it would probably be in August. Right.
Family?
There's already outdoor seating there, correct?
There is.
You're gonna keep the layout the same?
Yeah, it's not a lot of space. It would just be 2 tables.
Mr. Trombley.
Yes, I wanted to say I've been to Happy Place Creperie. I've always enjoyed their food. I've always found it to be more of a niche concept for a business, and I think I echo Vice President Cronin's concerns about, is it a viable market for the creperie? But obviously that is your judgment. But you seem to have done well with Tracy's Cream and Sugar, which is also in sort of a niche area of customer service and such. So I very much wish you the best of luck, and I will certainly try to be first in line to get a very nice crepe.
Oh, fantastic! I'd love to have you.
Is there,
I'll make a motion. We approve the vitrilling license for Tracy Woodard at 438 Main Street and instruct the clerk not to issue until all local and state requirements have been met.
I'll second it. You got that pat down, huh?
I do.
Pretty good. I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye. And I'd also like to make a motion to approve the request for outdoor seating from Tracy Woodard at 438 Main Street. I don't think we have to include state requirements, but I'll say pending all local requirements being met.
Correct. All in favor?
Aye. Good luck.
And we'll send the chief over and he'll check out your moral character.
You know, my only question is, I don't know why I need a kitchen with all these restaurants, I'll tell you.
I know, right?
And we visit them.
Good. Well, and we're very grateful for that. all
Good
of us.
luck.
Thank you
Sounds
guys so
great.
much.
Good luck.
Have a good night.
Tracy.
Next, we have P13, which is a request for a one-day entertainment license from Gregory Sadovnikov. Savongnikov. I've got bad hands, sorry.
That's all right.
Go right ahead. Tell us what you're doing.
So we've been, my wife and I have been at 41 Washington for 4 years now. And starting in 2022, we thought it might be nice to have a porch concert event, which is kind of a neighborhood party style. We set it up on the side porches that we have in that house. It projects back into the garden area. We put seating out there. Part of the incentive was, Bristol has a Porch Fest, Providence has a Porch Fest, Warren has Warren Folks, but we don't have a Porch Fest. So we're just kind of planting our seed on that. And
I've heard nothing but good things.
yeah, I have a lot of background. I used to be one of the people doing the Fiddle and Folk Fest in Haynes Park, which we had 9 of those before COVID came along. So something
Any
we love to
questions of
do.
the applicant? It is his fourth, this will be his fourth.
So this is specifically for you, it's not for the neighborhood? In other words, are you hoping other people
75
do it?
We generally are well attended by the neighborhood, and I have Mark Cutler headlining.
Oh, no, my question is, are you hoping other people?
Oh,
with porches?
I'm open to the possibility in
Yeah.
the future. Beth Barron is going to perform this year. She has a lot of experience with that stuff.
Yeah.
We thought we might have the conversation at some point, but no specific plans.
There's one
Sounds like
in
fun.
Bristol. It's pretty extensive.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
pretty.
yeah, they're-
And if and when
Really
that day
nice.
comes,
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
you'll be part of
I would
a
be part of
bigger
it.
porch fest. So tonight we have single porch fest. What's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion. We request the one-day entertainment license from Gregory Sadovnikov, 41 Washington Street.
Perfect.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have request permission to close Luther Street during the event. And this is from St. Mary of the Bay Church. Is Millie Grieve here? Hi, Millie. So one thing we'd like to just note is discussion with the solicitor. If there's a funeral happening at the funeral home, we probably would, what's the advice, Mr. DeSisto, on the closing of Luther
The
Street?
only thing I'm concerned about with Luther Street is either a funeral or a waiting. If Luther Street is closed, how are people gonna get into and out of the funeral?
Well, actually, we want to have food trucks there too, so that's pretty much where we want to park, but I don't know.
It's a
the-
difficult.
We could get the council to pass a resolution saying that nobody can pass away a week before the.
It would be nice.
I don't
I
know
would
how
like that.
binding that
We've
is.
never tried that before, have we, Tom?
But you realize the conundrum.
Yeah, no, I know.
Concerned about that.
They can always park in our parking lot. There's plenty of room back there.
That's my question is, you get that huge parking lot in the back. Why do you need Luther Street closed?
Because we're doing it on the side lawn. We're gonna do it on
Oh,
the side
okay.
lawn.
Let me apologize.
Yeah.
I unfortunately jumped ahead. So please, let's rewind.
Okay.
Hi, you're Millie?
Yes, I am.
Could you please tell us about what you would like to do?
Well, this is our first one. We'd like to have it be an annual one, but we want to have a Harvest Family Fest. We don't have a name yet. Throwing that around. For families with children, the community, we want to open it up to everyone, not just our parish families. It'll be geared towards kids and families, but there'll be other stuff for everyone of every age to come through. We'll have food trucks to, supply the food and everything. We're having a bouncy house. We're just doing all kinds, like kid stuff and family stuff and lots of pumpkin. So, so we just want it safe there too, to not have traffic while we're having the event.
The event. So we do have a valid concern.
Yep.
Because if indeed there is a wake or a funeral, that whole lot, that whole area, as well as their
Mhm.
parking lot entrance and out. So we would have to have a contingency plan.
Mhm.
Oh, let me make a suggestion here. If you're to approve the request, I think there should be a condition that Millie
Mhm.
speak with the owners of the Romano Funeral Home to make arrangements in the event that they have items.
Well, we were gonna do that anyway, just to let them know what was going on, and then it probably would have come up and
What's the
come
date?
sometime.
That condition should include some alternates, so
October
that if in
Mhm.
fact they do
October
have
18th.
You can't plan that.
an event that they have at the same time, that there would be parking perhaps in the church's parking lot in the back,
Mhm.
and all to be supervised by the chief of police.
On the,
Or the former finance director.
so so you want the crowd to get into the street or just for the?
No, just the food trucks, really.
Maybe if we just limited no parking on Luther Street for that day, you'd be able to put the food trucks on the St. Mary's side of the street, and then that street could still remain open.
Would that eliminate the parking that they have in the front?
No, because if you allow the food trucks to park on the St. Mary's side there, that whole parking lot for the funeral home.
If we
would be
park further
accessible.
down, if they have trucks further down, street, like past the parking lot.
I think, I think that's a possibility, of course. But I really do think that the street closure for public safety is important. I mean, if you're gonna be there entering in and out with food trucks and all, the last thing we want is somebody getting hit.
No, I agree.
I think you should go to the funeral home,
Mhm.
discuss this. We can give a contingent, we can approve this contingent on their input. If they have an objection to what you're offering,
Mhm.
they'll bring it to us
Okay,
and you won't get the permit.
okay. Chances are, if there is a funeral, it'll be at our church, so I would know way ahead of time.
The one thing I can note is unfortunately, they're not here.
Mhm.
So if you'd like, we could put this to next month. You can talk to them,
The funeral home?
the funeral
Okay.
home, the director. We can put it back on the agenda for next month in case they do want to come
Okay,
and give input, or you can come and say, I spoke to them and they don't think this is a problem.
whatever you.
Hopefully that'll put things to rest.
Will that put a lid on it?
Can we pass the resolution no funds?
So what we'll do is we will,
Take one up.
go ahead, Mr. Trombley.
I think Councilman Hanley's observation was, and I do appreciate the input also of the council president on whether or not the street could be closed, should be closed. The only thing I wanted to add in that is that I know that that street is very narrow, so it may be worth it to refer it to the streets.
Traffic committee.
The traffic committee. If we are anticipating not voting on this until the subsequent council meeting in August.
Well, we're voting, the request is to close the street, so we don't need input from a committee on whether we close the street or not.
I would like their input though, because it is, they know the street better. That's why I'm thinking it'd be appropriate. If not, that's fine, but.
Yeah, they would probably come to the same conclusion as we just have.
Yeah.
Talk to Ramon.
The
We
streets,
we were planning on doing that anyway.
the chief is up. Let's hear what he has to offer.
Yeah, there's only two houses down there, which is the end of the street.
Right.
So it's the church, a house, street, the funeral home, house, street. So by trying to get down, the limit, as far as getting to the house, it will be an issue. We're not gonna go from Main Street to Wood Creek, come back to the parking lot. There's only two houses, so we felt that would be a better option than what was trying to shut down, Main Street.
Now, those other houses, if you come down Manning, you could actually, so the people that live in those houses, if we stop at Manning, if we don't stop the traffic, let them continue on Manning in the bottom half of Luther, those other houses would still have access to and from their properties.
Yes, that would not affect them.
No, just Luther to Manning.
So again, why don't you just speak to the funeral home?
Mhm.
Because they are the biggest part of that access in and out. And we'll put this on the agenda for August.
Okay,
We'll table this? Is that?
I'll make a motion, we continue the,
I'll continue, sorry.
P14 for the closed Luther Street till.
To Manning.
To Manning for August meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Will I get notified, like what date and everything? This.
It's the second Tuesday
the
of
second
August.
Tuesday. My first one.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
So remember, an alternate parking plan would probably, be part of that. When you talk to the funeral home. You're welcome. Next, we have correspondence. Does anybody want to pull anything out of correspondence? We have Bristol County Water Authority's monthly report, department head reports, resolution from the town of Exeter, proposing Senate Bill 0909, House Bill 6273. I think the House and Senate's out of session, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, so we also have Smithfield opposing something. Does anybody want to pull any of this, or is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to accept the correspondence.
I mean the correspondence, thank you. And we have TV on, so here we go, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And that was Mr. Hanley and Mr. Radio, I believe, made that motion. Next, we have new business. This is a request the town manager to send a second letter to the superintendent of the Bristol Warren Regional School District and the Bristol Warren School Committee
Are we watching
to
TV?
So
repair the potholes at Hugh Cole and Kickapoo Middle School. And this is from Councilman Rago.
2 months ago,
And he
we
has
received
a
a letter from a
video.
gentleman that was very upset about some potholes at U Cole School. I don't know, did anybody get to go out there and check out the potholes?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Terry? So I figured I'd bring the potholes to you, if we
Okay,
can get the potholes. Well, nevertheless, we sent him a letter to address this issue. It's been going on for 3 years. The gentleman that sent us the email was very, very upset. So, where's the other one?
is that Mars?
No. Can you change them? Can you change?
You don't have a color camera?
Try the other ones. So this is what we're dealing with. Keep going.
That looks like a big lake.
It gets worse. Keep
Ah,
going.
that looks like.
Crater.
These are craters. This is an embarrassment. So we sent, we had our town manager send an correspondent to the school committee and the superintendent to resolve this issue. And something happened. They fixed some of these potholes. And last week I went for a ride on my motorcycle and they weren't fixed. And so I put it on the agenda to, I actually put it on the agenda for us to send a second letter and for us to hold back on funding, but I think the hold back on funding.
Yeah, we don't have any access to any
Right.
funds.
So I guess at this point, I'm looking for, and again, I wanted to just show you, this is serious stuff. These
The
are
reason
kids
the-
playing this.
The back of
So
the
some of
school-
it was in the front, some of it was in the side. And I think we need to put more teeth on this. The school committee should, and the superintendent should be responding. Shame on this principal, shame on everyone that goes by there. It's been happening for 3 years and no one does anything about it. So I guess, Tony, I guess I'm looking for some advice from you as what we should do.
I'd like the update. By the way, I want to apologize because you had more on for this section. I made a legal determination without speaking to you first. So I apologize.
That's fine.
Want the manager to say what's happened since then I'm going to make some suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. President, I apologize to the council when I did write the letter. Unfortunately, in the letter, I just mentioned the elementary school. I did not mention the middle school. For some reason, I wasn't aware. I knew about the potholes at the elementary school, but I wasn't aware of the ones at the middle school. So that's my responsibility. And I did call the superintendent. I made a phone call to her office today. She's away at a conference. I wanted to let her know that the letter that I had sent to her, I neglected to mention the middle school, and I wasn't aware of the back of the school as well. I know that the front of the school, those potholes have been filled. And I will address that with another letter tomorrow. And I did speak, as I said, I spoke to the superintendent's administrative assistant today.
Now, we own the field. And what's our parking arrangement? We don't own the field? That's what yeah.
We own both schools.
No, I was just asking.
We own both schools. It's
Louis.
leased, no, let me answer the question. We own both schools. It's leased to the school committee, to the Bristol Warren Regional School Department. So
Correct.
it's important to know that.
My question was about the field. That's all I wanted.
Oh, okay.
Because I understand about the ownership of the schools, but it's their responsibility is where I'm getting at. Mr. Cabral, do you have any knowledge of these parking lots being redone when they spend the money on the bond to repair the schools or whatever you want to call it?
This is Matt Cabral, Building Zoning Official of the Town of Warren.
Thank you.
I met today with the acting director of the facilities. We went to the property. It is correct. Some holes have been filled, some haven't. He mentioned to me that he's going to work on getting a timeline as to filling them. He also mentioned that the parking lot, so both parking lots under the bond are supposed to be redone. KMS parking lot and Huco parking lot. That is scheduled for next summer. So this is an issue that we have to address now, as you're all aware. It's also a condition that's been there for over a year. We do our annual school building inspections. We cited them last year for this, and we came back this year, and we cited them again this year for this. So they have been cited last year and this year.
I think we should send the letter directly to the superintendent, and we should invite her to next month's meeting on this issue.
I really like that idea.
I have a question for the building official.
Please, Mr. Handley.
Did you cite them under the property maintenance code?
No, we didn't. We cited them on our
Annual school inspection.
Annual school
Well,
inspection.
It's, as you know, it's clearly a violation of property maintenance. You need to maintain your parking lots. But I would say let's send them a letter. And if we do not get an appropriate response, let's have the town manager direct the building official to cite them under the property maintenance code, and then we can pull them into our municipal court.
Correct. That's one of my suggestions for us.
Let's start with a letter directly to the superintendent and we don't know how far up this is going in the chain of command. Let's invite her in on the issue. It is our school, and have a properly worded letter to just simply bring this to her attention. It's been going on for a year. Ask her to investigate why, and we will be inviting her to the next August council meeting.
Let me say this. When that gentleman sent that email, I didn't like the way he worded it. He said, I wasn't even going to look into it. I'm even madder than he is. I've been down there 5 or 6 times already. It's very upsetting. And that right there, that crater is right next to where the playground is. There was a bunch of kids that were playing in the playground, so they could very easily get hurt there. And
So, Mr. President, if I may,
Yes.
when Councilman Hanley, if you remember, when you were the president, we got a complaint regarding this issue, as well as the vehicles in the back. We did cite them, but they fixed some of the potholes, so we didn't, the case was closed. We were also told that this project, and all the members of the building committee that are in the room, I believe Tara at the time was a member and on the school committee. We were told that these 2 parking lots are going to be done this summer. This was going to be the first project that was going to be done because the bond had to be shovel ready for June of 25, and they said that these 2 parking lots were going to be what was going to be done first. So that's why it's in the status it is, because we gave them a little bit of a leniency. After finding out today it's not going to be till next year, then I'll take that course of
I'd
action.
like the manager to possibly include in his letter that waiting till next year is unacceptable, as that's a safety issue.
I just want to see you again next month. That'd be good.
So, Mr. Cabral, maybe you can speak with the manager and maybe have a 3-way conversation. I would rather have her hear of this from you first before we get to any sort of citations.
The manager and I have been working very closely on this.
No, but I mean, speaking to the superintendent.
And
I
we-
believe
and-
she has the most influence on this and probably may not even know that this has been brought up in the past. And bring it to her attention and find out what her answer is, out of all due respect to her position and Then we'll take it from there. I hope, Mr. Trombley.
Thank you. One observation I'll make is that school is going to be back in session by the end of August, so time is definitely of the essence. So I definitely approve taking immediate action on this. In addition, one other thing I'll note, having experience with parking lots, I also think it's definitely appropriate to check in and see when these are going to be repainted, because having the directional arrows is critical for traffic control as well as for preventing accidents like kids getting hit by cars and such. So I understand that that's not the purpose of this letter. The purpose of this letter is the potholes, but I think it's sort of an ancillary or accessory concern that I have. And I'm wondering if we can combine that with the letter that's going to be sent to check in on the status of when these are going to be repainted. Because if they're going to take the time to fill these potholes, it has to cure before they paint them. So that's why I'm curious as to what the status is of that as well.
I'll get that information tomorrow. Like the acting director is supposed to get back to me on the timeline when they're going to fill the potholes. I just, after speaking to them today, one pothole was over a foot deep. That's how bad.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. Thank you.
Okay,
They could have put gravel in. It didn't really matter.
so how does that sound?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Want to put that in the form of a motion?
Well, part of it.
That we're going to we're going to notify the superintendent
To come here next month.
to come here next month, and we're gonna also give her, of course, the information on the issue. So she'll be told by the manager, condition of the potholes, the lack of timely, the whole story.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here we go. 'Cause we're just not we're trying to solve a problem.
Yes.
Next, we have Mr. Rego, discussion and action on the maintenance, cleaning, weeding, and tree pruning on state roads.
So for years and years and years now, I respected the two Bryans. They've inherited something that maybe they weren't aware of, that, but we keep hearing that it's the state that's responsible for the maintenance of the state roads. And for years, the town has always maintained them. As a matter of fact, I had two people last week ask me, when are they going to take care of the weeds on the state roads? And they were both former highway directors, John Massett and Jan Malik asked me. And it's something that we have to do. It took us many years to get some of these sidewalks done. And there's a picture of one. That's actually, I was going to make a motion to put Christmas lights on those weeds. It's horrible. Today I went by there and somebody cut it down. I don't know who was it. Brian, did you have somebody cut them down?
I did.
Okay. But that's just one picture. I could go around town and find many of those pictures. So it's something that the council has to address. Either we're going to decide to do this or not. Because you know what? Weeds crack sidewalks. Weeds, when they dry up, they go into catch basins, create flood issues. And it's just an ugly, ugly thing. 25 years ago, I think we did a study in town. It cost $37,000. One of the things that the study pointed out was the gateways to the community is one of the most important things. And I got to tell you, our gateways are not very beautiful right now. So I think it's something we need to address and direct the manager and the highway department to go in that direction to get these things cleaned up and swept. And also, if any pruning of trees need to be done, to do them. We always used to do them. Past couple of years we stopped. I don't know why, but it needs to be done.
Mr. DeSisto, is it legal for us to do the maintenance on state roads that Mr. Rego is speaking about?
Under a case, actually several cases, Child versus Green, which involved an accident on Main Street, of all places in Warren. The rule is sidewalks are the responsibilities of town, and the liability, by the way, too. From sidewalk to sidewalk for the paved curbing, that's the responsibility of the state. I think what you're saying, Lou, is that you want the sidewalks maintained.
Sidewalks in the street. I mean, we have street sweepers. They have to go down these streets that are a reflection on us. And it's a shame that the sweeper just doesn't go down and sweep as it gets to the next point. I don't understand why we're not doing it. We've always done it in the past. The cost to do it All it is putting the sweeper down and picking up the stuff as it's going by.
Um,
I don't know why we're not doing it.
I think Mr. Wheeler will give us some insight as the DPW director.
We're not able, we would have to have permission to sweep state roads. They do that. That is their problem. We do not get funded enough to take care of state sidewalks as well as our own. We barely have enough funding to take care of the roads that we have in town. So when we start taking our funding and we start taking our manpower, we push it to the state projects, because this has been the problem in every city and town. The state is refusing to provide any funding to towns to maintain their projects. We can't afford to fix them. We can't afford to get out there and pull weeds every day because it's going to take away from something else. So we have to give up somewhere else then. So we can't do everything that we've always done with what we have it today. The days of spraying weed killer is gone. It's just not accepted anymore by residents, by DEM. You got to get applicator licenses. So there's a lot that goes into this, but more than just getting out there, running a sweeper down it. The state receives all of the funding for the sidewalks. We don't. This has been that push that we keep sending the support for throughout the state. This is why we keep asking for more and more resolutions. We do not have the funding or ability at the moment to continue to manage state sidewalks and our own. We have a lot of issues on our own sidewalks and our own streets. We haven't even been able to fill potholes in a month. We're just getting caught up to the point where we're going to be able to afford to buy asphalt again and now be able to get out there and fill potholes. So we're going to push ourselves further and further behind the 8 ball. So when one extra project gets taken in, something has to fall off the side. And it's just, we're trying to balance every little thing. Plus you get these storms that can, kind of come through and they push the brush out there. And we're still, we're going to be picking up brush for 2 weeks. So it's just it's a catch-22. I don't see how with our current situations that we can manage this as well as everything else that we're trying to do.
Ryan, I respect everything you said, honest to God. We have to find a way of doing it. I'm not gonna live in a town that's full of weeds. I'm not gonna be driving by these weeds anymore. We've done it in the past. We need the funding, we're gonna get you the funding. I'm not living in a town, and I've heard this from more than one person. That's horrible. It's totally horrible.
That's
so what I'm
also
saying is, and this
private
is
property, like that is owned by, whether it's the traffic or whether it's a Verizon box. These are items that we don't own, we don't touch. Like this has been the problem that we kind of run into, is that we don't get curb cuts, we don't get any of that stuff to manage these. So,
and again, Brian, what I'm saying is, it's not your fault, it's not the manager's fault. It's up to us to point you in the direction that we want this town to go in. I want to see these things cleaned. I want to come up with the resources. I want to find ways to do it. I can't tell anybody to do it, but the council can. And it's the wishes of the council. I mean, we all live in Warren. Do we want to continue to live and see what we see? We never used to see this before. It used to get done. I don't know what's changed. But whatever's changed and whatever you need, we need to provide it to make sure it happens.
I can probably point out a few issues that have changed. Our financial position has changed. We're unable to hire temporary summer work or seasonal work, and that used to be a great asset to the DPW. To go back to the COVID times, it seems like people really don't want those kind of jobs anymore. I think the last time we were successful in bringing in temporary employment was probably about 8 years ago. And we advertised for 12 positions. I think we got three applicants. One of them was my son, who ended up getting a full-time job with the town. I don't think it's as simple. I think money could help, but I think we have to figure out how we're going to prioritize.
Sure. So I guess I'm going to make a motion.
Our budget.
I'm going to make a motion that we go in that direction to find a ways of doing it. And I'm assuming that we all want to. And if we don't want to, I'm going to ask for a roll call a vote on this, because I want to know where we stand. Either we're going to clean up this town or we're not. So my motion is for the town of Warren to go forward to looking for ways, the resources to get these streets cleaned.
I don't know what.
Louis,
that
you-
means.
What that means is I want to know what direction, I want to, if somebody says, how come our streets, well, hold on a second.
Yeah,
Joe.
but don't raise your voice, relax.
What I want, because this is very upsetting.
Well, to you,
I sit here and I'm complaining about a school potholes and I'm looking at trees like this. It's very, very upsetting.
I know,
Very upsetting to me. And it's upsetting to a lot of people
it is.
because this is a reflection on all of us.
Don't disagree.
All right.
And when
And
they
I,
open their tax bills,
That makes it even worse.
Right, so when we have a budget and we've tried to put as much money as we can into the DPW, we're coming up short.
right. So I don't want to hear it's a money issue. All right. We'll have to address it if it is.
Can I?
Okay,
Let me-
Mr. Hanley, speak on the
Let-
issue, please.
Let me, well, I was.
I know you will.
How about if I make a motion, listen to it, I think this is gonna solve, or at least get us on the path you want us to be on, okay? My motion would be to direct the town manager and the director of public works to come back to us with what the cost would be to clean these weeds and then spray every 2 weeks to keep them from coming back. That way we'll have a dollar amount and then we know what we're looking for and then we know where we can go get it if we have to go get it. That makes
I
sense?
think they're environmentally acceptable sprays.
They spray in Pawtucket weekly, so I know it's still allowed.
Well, we're gonna,
Yeah, but
I think your
they
motion.
got a little golf cart the guy drives around with this big sprayer and just whack.
And I don't want to hear, well, the state doesn't want it, so I just want to see it done. And I think
know.
we all do.
I know, but we're gonna look into it and get your information.
So
the
next
best we
month,
can.
we'll have what they estimate it's gonna cost and how we're gonna get it done, and then we know, then we can go look for money.
That's fine.
Cause we're gonna have to look for money somewhere.
Mr. Tromley,
I have a question for Mr. DeSisto. Would it be appropriate in addition, because as we've mentioned, these are state sidewalks, or these are state roads, and the sidewalks are on state roads, and the transformers may be owned by Verizon or Bell Telephone or whomever. I see this as a real public safety issue because considering especially the storm we had just last week, if this had caught fire for some reason, it could have really impacted sort of transmission, which we already had a problem with obviously last week. And my thanks go out to our public servants who helped restore power and keep people safe during the blackouts and everything. My question is, would it be appropriate to send for the town manager on behalf of the town council to send letters to the state and to the individual entities that may own these types of properties to ask them to sort of demand them to take action, so to speak? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, that box you're looking at right there, that's not a transformer, that's the control center for
For
the
the
light.
light, for the
You're never gonna see a
stoplights.
transformer that goes to the road. Yeah,
And-
Thank you for.
so that would be state owned.
and Mr. DeSisto, the sidewalks are the responsibility of the town.
That's correct, yes.
And we've been fighting that with the state.
And
So I think, Louis, if we can figure out a cost, figure out a plan, it may or may not happen this year,
well,
but I believe people
Let
are
me
on
just say this.
vacation. We're in a,
yeah, Bristol does it,
Mhm.
Barrington does it. There's no reason why we can't do it.
Louis, we're climbing out of $1 million deficit. When we spent that money, we're gonna wear secondhand clothes. We made an unfortunate
Joe.
commitment to the public.
Joe, this money, this thing of keep saying it's a financial, I don't think it's a financial issue.
Okay.
And so let's go in the direction that John just said. And then at least we're going in there, we all want to get these streets cleaned, right?
do.
Sidewalks.
Sure. So, Mr. Tromley,
Sorry, just
on the issue.
on the letter, would that be would be appropriate for the town to send a letter to the state asking them to perform some of this work?
The League of Association Towns is already doing that. We can. So far, it's been unsuccessful.
Okay.
They tell us it's our responsibility.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so let's work on Mr. Hanley's motion. Why don't you repeat it?
All right, my motion was to direct the town manager and the director of public works come back to us with what an actual cost would be to clean up the weeds and sweep the sidewalks on the state roads and to maintain them throughout the growing season, I guess, for lack of a better.
And we're talking about people power as well.
Well, yeah, the people power, the cost, if we're gonna spray, there's gonna be a cost to buying the spray. Yeah, so what the actual cost would be to be able to do this without overly affecting any other town services. I mean,
Okay, so is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a start.
It's a start. Good issue. It's very important. It is. And I'm not being sarcastic.
No,
It
no,
is.
Joe, I
The
know
weeds-
you feel the way I
The
do.
weeds are everywhere. Next we have the town manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item is discussion and action to authorize the new finance director, Gary Marshall, to be a signature on all of the Warren financial accounts. The banks that we work with require a vote of the council to approve that he be added to the list. So
And we expected this. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll
Is-
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next.
The second item, Mr. President, is update on the Traffic Commission. We met last week. We talked about the speeding on Coomer Avenue. It was discovered that we need to add some signage on the street. We also would like to place the I call it VMS of the message board.
Yeah.
You can put that on the street to collect some data to see exactly what the issue, what time of day it is, what the issues are. That will help with first of all knowing how much what the speeds are, and then enforcement issues as well. When's the best time to be there for enforcement?
Should provide us some data on the issue.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Union Street, that was part of the earlier ordinance. Those signs have gone up on Union Street, the one-way signs. So we wanted to make sure that was part of the ordinance, to change in the ordinance. The same with Fairview Avenue and Laurel Lane. Child Street and Long Lane, that is in the process of the state is putting flashing signs in there to let you know what your speed is. I believe it'll trigger what your speed is, so you know.
Right.
Make you aware of, right? Most people are not aware of.
And when they see it, they do reduce.
Correct. And I also believe they're going to be resurfacing the road there with some type of a pavement that will also, I think it's a grip pavement. I'm not 100% familiar with that, but that's in the works. And Schoolhouse Road and Long Lane, right now there is a stop sign currently which controls Long Lane, which means that the traffic on Long Lane has to yield to stop because the
Schoolhouse
traffic
has
on
the right of
Schoolhouse
way.
has the right of way. Correct.
So
So.
what are you asking for? A stop sign on Schoolhouse?
No, we don't think it's appropriate right now for a
This has
stop sign.
Been addressed in the past. This issue's come up in the past. And so, yeah, I am. Sure, Mr. Chomley.
Just on that last item, the schoolhouse in Long Lane, I've seen traffic, that's basically the boundary line for Swansea. I've seen traffic going very fast at that intersection. Why not put a three-way stop in at that intersection?
All of the traffic manuals frown on having stop signs as speed control.
Right.
A stop sign is supposed to be for who has a right of way. Certainly enforcement, we could have increased enforcement out there with the police department, or maybe some kind of road design, road diet, so to say, for speeding issues. I think the problem with the stop sign is that some people won't stop at it, and it would create traffic collisions.
False sense of security for the other people.
Yeah. So
And that whole intersection was rebuilt, what, about 6 years ago?
Probably.
To make it actually a T. It used to be.
It used to
much
be,
worse.
yeah,
it was really worse.
It was
yeah.
like a big merge. Mr. Rigo.
Brian, two questions. Over there is a really complicated situation because it's almost blind spotted. The speed they come out of, they come up on Charles Street, and if you're stopped at Long Lane, it's hard to detect the right
We're
because
down
of
the
the
other end,
speed.
though.
So maybe having that slow down is probably a good thing.
We're actually talking
We're
about.
down the other end now.
The opposite.
Schoolhouse.
Schoolhouse and Long Lane, like if you took a left off a
Oh,
dial.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
But-
we had both issue. You had the issue,
Yeah.
but it was previous.
A question for you as far as the traffic commission. We had an email not too long ago I believe from Nancy Silva was concerned about, I don't know if it was Clocks Road or one of these roads. My question is do we need does the council have to send something to the traffic commission, or is that something that if somebody has a question that we can just tell the manager and you bring it up?
I mean, the
at
state traffic or
the local traffic commission?
That's referred to, the
Yeah.
council makes
It's an
referrals to
advisory.
that.
It's not something that we can just say, hey, somebody was concerned about it at your next meeting, can you bring it up?
No,
As-
They only meet when we request stuff.
Yeah, that they meet at the request.
So, all right, so it has to be council.
Mr. Tromley?
I just would like to ask, as far as Schoolhouse and Long Lane, could the manager discuss with the traffic commission that intersection and what else may be done instead of the traffic or the stop signs I also think it's an issue because there is sort of some development coming up there from Swansea. And it is kind of a blind, not incredibly blind access, but it does concern me. And I've talked to folks in that area who've mentioned about how fast cars do go down that street and how they aren't looking. And sometimes, they've had dogs get hit by cars and such. So it is, I think, one of the more dangerous intersections in town. And I would definitely like to take some action on it. If stop signs are not what the traffic commission would recommend, would you have them recommend something, please?
Well, Mr. DeSisto, on that note, wouldn't we be sending this letter to the state traffic commission?
State road, yes.
Okay,
Is Schoolhouse Road State Road?
correct. It is, I believe, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, they just repaved.
They just
it all.
repaved it. I don't know.
State money.
Oh, it is.
Didn't they do?
It is,
because they
right?
did the jam,
Okay,
right?
yeah, thank you. So.
I'll be happy to sit with the traffic commission and come up with
put that
some
in the
ideas.
Motion,
I'd like to make that in the form of a motion, and perhaps if we send it to the local traffic commission first, they might have suggestions on what to recommend to the state traffic, if that's acceptable.
sure,
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Next, discussion and action and authorization from the town council to allow for a sole source purchase of a wastewater grinder for the JWC Environmental in the amount of $23,744.
Yes, Mr. President, this in regards to a grinder at one of our pump stations, the Patterson Avenue Pump Station. The grinder has stopped functioning. It's been there since I believe maybe the inception of when the pump station was put in. I guess it's given us good service. The reason for the sole source is that the other equipment in there is compatible with this grinder. I've been told by our wastewater treatment operator that if we put a different grinder in, we would have to change other components out, and it would cost us more additional money. This is a plug and play grinder that will work with the components that we already
And
have.
it is a Channel Monster single drum, so really,
I don't know what that means,
it-
but
the aim of it is.
Oh, wasn't it the Muffin
The
Monster?
muffin, used to
Yeah.
have the muffin muncher, but now we've got the Channel Monster. So, are we, I'm not making this up. Are we,
Basically.
we have a line item? For
Actually,
this.
I saw something on this here that actually made me smile. We
Like
got a
not-
tariff charge
yeah,
Tariff.
of $1,266.
Thank you, thank
Can
you.
we confirm this is
Thank you,
actually made in
President.
China?
Thank you, President.
So this would be for this fiscal year, so it would come out of operations, plant operation.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just. We just saw the Channel Monster right there written down. Okay, he thought I was kidding. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Discussion on the.
Tony,
motion.
so what the manager was saying, that we don't have to go out to bid because there's no other bidders. That's the only source that we have.
He's utilizing the sole source procurement.
Sure, okay.
Statute for this, and you should have that in writing for the council.
I think it's on the first page, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
The first page?
Yes, there was a determination made that this was the only place that you can get this, there you go.
There you go. Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah, the only one compatible.
All the giggles and discussion have happened. And all in favor?
Yes,
Aye.
There we go.
Unleash the Channel Monster.
And we did used to have some form of a muffin muncher, I believe. There was something. Now we have the ratification of the appointment of the tax assessor. Wow. What great news.
Yes, Mr. President, I recommend that Maya Gammon be appointed as the tax assessor. We did interviews 2 weeks ago, and she came out on top. Maya knows, I mean, she's still learning, obviously, but Maya knows the game, and we had a tax assessor from Tiverton who was on the board, and he was impressed with her knowledge base and frankly her devotion to doing a great job.
So she's going to step right into the job, knowing what she's doing. And Mr. DeSisto, we will have conditionally the conclusion of her, what's the wording? Because we
Ratification.
well, no.
Certification.
She has the certification. She needs to obtain, I believe, 2 more college courses, and she then has the college degree, which is required. And we are going to.
Under section 6.02 of the town charter, the tax assessor has 3 years for the certification. And I think by implication, you can have the same amount of time for the obtaining of the degree. Not that she's going to need it, but that's what the charter says.
So since we would allow 3 years for the certificate, we're going to allow 3 years for the conclusion of her college degree.
That's correct.
And we will have that in the form of a motion.
I so moved. I'll move that we ratify pending this 3-year timeframe to maintain certification or requirement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard.
Maya, you're doing a great job so far. Don't screw up now. Good job.
Next, we have discussion and action regarding the sewer fee increase to cover shortfall for fiscal year 25.
Yes, this is a follow-up from last month's, Councilman Tremblay had asked about the sewer fee, the increase in the sewer fees. And there would be approximately 270,000 generated from this increase. And that would cover the overages for last fiscal year. I keep saying that, but last fiscal year 25.
Yes.
Right now, those fees are about at 180,000 that we've had to use, supplement from the general fund. And there could be some outstanding bills that may get us up to 200,000. We don't anticipate that it'll be the whole 270,000.
Okay.
All right. Next, we have discussion and action and authorization to purchase scenario-based modeling software for wastewater treatment plant from Waterworth.
Yes, Mr. President. So this is a software program that was brought to my attention by the finance director or the outgoing finance director. And we've had several meetings with Waterworth, which is a cloud-based scenario modeling rate management software. And it integrates the asset replacements this would be for the wastewater treatment plant. It integrates asset replacement, long-term financial forecasts, a cost analysis of what repairs and things are going to be necessary down there, and which would help design the rates that we need to have at the wastewater treatment plant. It allows for comparisons of different scenarios of if we need to replace equipment, how much money we would have or we would need to generate in order to get that equipment, or if we went out to bond, how long it would take for us to catch up to pay off that bond.
Most importantly, we don't have a cost here associated with this request.
So with conversation that I've had with the company, they would give it to us for $4,999 for 1 year. I've met with the budget committee on this. The budget committee recommends or highly supports this software. They believe that it would be helpful on us when we analyze what is what we need down at the wastewater treatment plant as far as equipment and looking at our fees going forward in the
Is
future.
Mr. Kamiga aware of this?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Kamiga, has he have input on this?
We did not have any conversation with Eric, only because it was more of a financial looking at it through that aspect rather than a facilities equipment type of thing.
So this is more for future planning, budgeting today for future projects. And I think
I'm
that's
not sure. I mean, I didn't have any
That's what it
information
sounded
on this
like.
other than this right now. So
We got a cost, where do you think we would get it from the 2025 budget? Where would we get the money from the 2025?
Again, it
budget?
would come out of plant operations. Yeah,
so it's $4,099.
$4,999. Yeah.
So
Is there a
$5,000. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need a little more information.
Is there a time crunch on this? Is this time?
No,
sensitive?
this not time sensitive. No, we can go back to the company Waterworth and have a conversation of what
Yeah. and
with
get
them.
Get a little more information.
Maybe they would want to do
Or
a
invite
short
them.
presentation to the council.
We certainly could arrange that.
Sure.
Yes.
About to bid? I mean, seem.
Well, I think that the reason that they're making the offer for, $1 and 5,000 is that's the limit for bidding.
I don't
Got
think
it.
there's that many companies that do it anyways.
And it's 1 year, and I'm sure it'll go up the next. Mr. Cord, do you have something you'd like to share with us as a member of the Finance Committee? All the information is best.
Sure. Mr. Manager, members of the council. So we've had 4 or 5 sessions where we've looked at this software package. It's effectively a long-term capital planning tool. You focused on the wastewater plant, but we also need to take into account the other assets that are within the purview of wastewater services and the pipes, grinders, the pump houses, things like that. When we feel, the budget committee, that one of the real pain points, one of the areas that needs to be addressed and is becoming risen in importance in the last couple of months is the state of the capital planning for the wastewater services. We think that's the biggest blind spot, quite honestly, in terms of the town finances. The pain point is that so much of the information is tied in with previous employees of the town. You've got a lot of data that's been lost. This type of tool, it's really low cost at $5,000 when you look at the scope of the value, which is yet to be determined, of all the assets that are tied with the wastewater system. $5,000 is really a drop in the bucket. When we look at this long-term capital planning stuff, this has the advantage of, one, getting the data into a cloud-based environment. It's not buried in someone's Excel spreadsheets. It's not buried in someone's Microsoft OneDrive. It's out there for multiple members of the manager and his team to have access to that info. Two,
But let's stop there, just so what would be the data? Like, what are we looking at? The costs of all of this equipment? through
right.
the town?
So we have, as a town, pipes that are taking wastewater into pumping stations, and there are other types of assets. I'm not an expert in this, but there's capital, right? So to answer your question directly, we would look to address what is the condition of the capital of the capital state, the funding for the wastewater system, not just the plant. So that's the type of information that would be in there. Okay, what are we looking at? To be practical, Joe, what are we looking at? When does the pipe on Water Street have to be replaced? When does the pipe on Child Street have to be replaced? When does the pipe on Coomer have to be replaced? And then you start building out, so you can look out 5, 10, 15 years about the long-term capital planning needs for that discrete activity.
Who inputs all of this
That was my big
information?
question. Who has all of that information?
Well, like you said,
We are working-
unfortunately, it's been, it was in Norm's head.
You know, we just went through the budget process and we all agreed to increase the sewer use fee. When I opened the tax bill, I didn't realize it. I have apartments and on my apartments, I'm paying $299 and on my house, I'm paying $486. I didn't know we had a tier system.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I brought this up to somebody, you know, when I connected my water to the water company, it cost me $3,500. If you connect to the sewer, it only costs you $750. These are things that this software would probably ask and probably make, you know, open our eyes to make these adjustments.
Right,
You know,
but
so-
who's gonna be inputting this information? I'm just curious. Who does this, what we buy it? Who mans it?
So the presentation that they had, this company will help us input this information. They'll take information, prior history information from our budget, our audits, put that information in, and then also put in the new information from current budget, and then help us predict what our future budget should be for.
I get that aspect, but like the Wood Street pumping station, that's a very big facility down there. Who's going to tell us and put in the information, the condition of that, the age of that, the repair cost, the replacement cost? That's how this software, I believe, would
Yeah.
interact.
So there are a couple of things.
I mean, who's gonna be doing this?
Jump in.
Yes.
We're gonna have to do some discovery, volunteers and staff digging in to files that are down at the wastewater plant, that are presumably perhaps in the manager's office. And then, working together, we have to try to start plugging some of those holes. Guaranteed, we're gonna find that there's some more holes that need to be plugged. And, we'll tell you that this type of activity is under-resourced. Capital planning is something that usually people don't like to do. We've discovered here in the last couple of budget cycles that it's not particularly well-resourced. The auditor was here last year and said we probably need to staff up in the finance area. Now, this is not the time right now this year to talk about increasing headcount. But Joe, you're asking, Mr. President, you're asking all the right questions, and together we're going to have to learn. But knowing that we have a tool that can help us start thinking this through, and it's pretty low cost, I strong, and Sheila Raposo and I, so this is a joint budget committee recommendation in support of the activity, and we applaud the manager, we applaud the outgoing finance director for identifying this tool, bringing it in. We've had, as I mentioned, 4 or 5 discussions with Councilmember Rigo has joined some of those conversations.
Did you not think about Mr. Kamiga? I mean,
Yes, I talked.
Was he involved in all of this? What's his feeling?
As I said, Eric is not aware of this, so I have to bring it to his attention and let him
And I
know.
think that's, it's most important. He understands the whole,
And
he's
Joe-
running the plant,
No.
as well as H2 resources.
So we're in kind of a predicament, you know, and I've heard from more than one person about, you know, we need to do a 5-year plan. 5-year plan, you need to put capital. We've never been in a situation with debt service like we are today. Our debt service used to be right around 800, 900. We're at $3 million because
Correct.
of $20 million. So having that 5-year plan, we're going to need stuff like this software to.
I'm not
better
arguing
figure-
against it.
Right, and again, that's where I'm coming from, and you
Is it
know.
adaptable to other departments?
So they do have programs for other like finance and other items,
Or like
but it's,
DPW, get this for the streets, the years of the streets, the
We
vehicles,
did
things like that?
We actually had that. We have a prioritization. Remember, we did the streets.
Right, but I mean, but this software, the streets gave us a report, but then that was it. The report doesn't continue. This program continues.
I guess the reason
It
that
plots where you go next.
the reason I'm asking about the manpower and the sewer treatment facility specifically is it's probably gonna fall on them. I think
I
volunteer,
don't know how you can legitimately task this to a contractor to maintain.
no, but I mean, the information, I mean, somebody's gotta, I don't think it's as easy as you may think to find out the condition and itemization of all of this.
Mr. President, I don't think it's easy because I think the town has been neglecting it for a long time.
Okay.
And this is not just the wastewater plant. It is, we're looking to have an analytical tool for getting a sense of the health of all of the inputs, all the parts of the wastewater system.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Trombley, please.
So I would just like to say, first and foremost, I think that this software seems like a good tool to help us manage this system going forward, collecting the data. But it does seem there's some outstanding questions on sort of some of the crossing the T's, dotting the I's nature of it. I'm curious if it would be worth it to hold this, I know that's not the proper term, hold this until the next council meeting to address those concerns, and then at that council meeting to support it. I'm very supportive of this. I just want to make sure we are crossing our I's and dotting our T's.
I think that's fair, to be honest with you.
You should-
And we could ask for a
Reach out to the
demonstration.
community and see, are they local?
They're
Are
not
they local
local, no, they're
representatives?
the local representative, but they did tell us that they would do a demonstration for the council.
So they are local enough to be here.
They can do it by the
Zoom. Or
Oh, Zoom.
Zoom.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a West Coast company.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact that Mr. Core and Ms. Reposa have confidence in this is why I'm very much in support of it. But again, it's just about making sure that we've done our due diligence to make sure that this is totally 100% going to work.
Understood.
Are there any other input from anyone here on this issue? Okay.
I'll make a motion. We continue the discussion and action on the purchasing the software for the wastewater treatment plant till the regularly scheduled August meeting.
Is there a second?
You also want, do you want a presentation from the guy?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that what you asked?
Yeah, I pretty much said that. Well,
Okay,
yeah.
Not,
wait,
it's really not just the wastewater software. Got it. Really a great model.
but we're applying it to the wastewater treatment facility now.
Wastewater system, not just plant.
Well, I mean, that's what everything leading to the plant. So
Thank you, Mr. President.
you're welcome. Next, we have the solicitor.
This is an executive session in regard to personnel. The employee has been notified.
Okay,
I'll make a motion for executive session regarding personnel.
is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Trombley,
Aye.
Ms. Cronin,
Aye.
Mr. Hanley,
Aye.
Mr. Rego.
Aye.
Myself in the affirmative. Next, actions on matters discussed in executive session, which we will do in the future. Now, Finance Director. Mr. Burlingame, this is
Mr. President,
is this going to be your last report or?
this is, I'm like a bad penny. Here I
Right.
am again. I wrote in my department report this month that June was a very low collections month, but we anticipated that July was going to be significantly higher, as it is every year. And I can tell you that already, from the time the bills went out on the 1st of July to today, what's the 9th, we've collected far more money than we anticipated. There's been a line almost every minute since we've been open. So that's the good news. And there is no bad news.
All right. Well, thank you for the good news.
We have some requests to transfer funds to cover some
Yes.
expenditures. First, let's look at the memo from town manager. Public Works overtime, we need $4,820, and we recommend that come from the wages and salaries account of the DPW.
Okay, is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion. We overspent $4,820 from the account number 015500001030 to be supplemented by account number 015500001020.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Number two, Public Works trash
Trash
collection.
collection is $8,450 over budget. We recommend that we move money from the wages and salaries union account 01550001020.
The trash collection, is this for like leaves and hard items, or because we're subcontracted for the actual?
This was the not, last year not taking into account the surcharges for the fuel that was in that contract, because I did not know that was a line item, so.
Okay.
This year we've accounted hopefully for that.
Okay, good point.
I'll make a motion, we overspend account number 015500002305 in the amount of $8,450 to be offset with account number 015500001020.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, transfer station tipping fees.
Yeah, the tipping fees we're currently over budget by just over $35,000, and we anticipate that the June bill will be about the same. So we're asking for $70,000.
How did we put so much money into was this winter storms that didn't happen? Or, I mean, where are we getting $80,000 or $90,000 out of wages and salaries?
I believe last year, when we did the budget, we had kept it with the same amount of employees, but we had actually lost one. We were at excess. So for many years, we were excess one employee. And so I believe what happened was we just kind of kept that budget going with the traditional that amount of people, but we actually did not have that employee. And then this year we lost an employee in March to the DOT, and his position never was filled. So there was a couple of.
So these adjustments are noted, Mr. Finance Director. Is that correct?
Going
Thank you.
forward, though, like.
Going
it's already
forward.
been, that's been addressed in the new budget.
Correct.
But this.
I'm saying, I hope that's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Yes. Brian, don't sit down, because I got a question. So-
Mr. Rega,
So, why so we were closed for a month, right? The transfer station.
This is the tipping fees to the
state
landfill.
For the
So this
trash
is
pickup.
the trash pickup on the.
We still picked up trash.
This is strictly for the trash.
this has to
So
do
this
with
is anything that
recycling,
Goes to the landfill, yes.
and the cost is impacted
Okay,
by
so-
recycling.
So because I had this discussion today with the treasurer. When somebody dumps something there, you weigh it up.
Correct.
When the mega goes and dumps that there, you weigh it up.
Correct.
Is this the same?
Yes, so it all goes to the landfill in the same truck every day. We report monthly what our commercial weight is versus our residential weight, and we get charged accordingly from the landfill for those. So that's a requirement from the landfill.
And don't the recycling impact this as well?
Yep, so our recycling, the more recycling, the better. In this case, I want to say somewhere around April, we went over our cap, which is
Unfortunate.
it's understandable. It happens almost every single year about the same time. Once it goes over the cap, you pay a little more.
Summer cleanup, spring cleaning.
Did we budget correctly this year? Or are we gonna do this?
I can't remember what the number was, but we did increase it a lot from the previous year.
Okay, is there a motion?
Let's have a quick question.
Mr. Trombley,
So the reason that normally I think we would probably just transfer the 3516 that we were missing. And the reason we're gonna do 70 is because we anticipate that will be next month, and there will be penalties if we exceed it next month. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, June's bill hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah.
So,
You asked for a heads up when we know about it, and that's what we're doing here.
That's right.
correct.
Anthony, can we transfer even though there's not technically an overage yet?
That's what the charter says.
I think you're gonna have to.
Okay.
I think you're gonna have
No,
to.
we wouldn't be able to
that's
do it,
what
we
it
wouldn't
is.
be able to do it at the August meeting?
Gotta do it now.
Okay.
As soon as, so the way it works is, as soon as you recognize you're gonna go over, you're supposed to come to the council and ask permission for it to happen.
And they are. Is there
They
a
are,
motion?
and they're doing
I'll
it.
make a motion, we overexpend line item 01550 15-2400 in the amount of $70,000 to be offset from account number 01-550-00-1020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have just a weird question. So when I'm looking at, well, what's the third set of numbers? Because it's been consistently 01-550-00, but then all of a sudden there's this 15. Does that?
That line? Where do you see an 05?
I'm just
Where we're
looking at
coming in
the
on top of
previous-
transfer.
The number one and number two,
First account number.
the numbers are all consistent. The first three sets of numbers are consistent. It's the last set of numbers, those
Oh.
last four numbers that are different. And then this one, the third set of numbers is 15 now instead of 00. I'm just curious.
15?
What
Well,
those,
that's the line item for the tipping fees,
I know, it,
but the other line items are different.
And town hall expenses, we have an extra
Right.
set of numbers in it too.
That's
so
the,
these are 00, these are 00, this is 00, this is 00. Now we got a 15
Five.
here, but then we go back to a 00 here. I'm just curious.
That 155 may be transferred to the highway department, right?
Yes.
I mean, are
Just
you
the way they
asking for the
code this
number
out.
inaccurate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just all of a sudden I was gonna say, you don't need to say all those numbers because it's the same, the first three.
But then if
sets
you
of
look
num-
at town hall expenses, it's 03.
Yeah, so public, public
5-6
work,
though.
And then an 00.
Public Works is 01550-00 dash and starts at 1,000 and goes to 2340.
Yeah.
Then the transfer station is 01550-15 and it starts at 1030 and it goes to
So it is accurate.
Okay.
1024.
just
So it's accurate.
It's
Just to get an answer
Mr. Tromley.
to the question. So if we go over, we get penalized. So that's why we're asking, we're not just asking for the 35 and 16, we're asking for the 70 because we would be penalized by the state if we were over again. Is that correct?
No,
No, we're expecting another bill.
35 is for
We're expecting
May,
another bill.
the other 35 would
I
be
thought
for
that the-
June.
Did the planner, excuse me, not the planner, the public works director say that there was some sort of penalty associated with not paying?
So when you go over your cap,
Mm.
your cost goes up to $115 a ton. That happened for us in the April timeframe.
Okay.
We always go over our cap, so.
See,
But
they
that-
tell us how much capacity our trash is.
And
When
they
we go
lower it,
higher
yeah.
than that, we pay a higher price.
Understood. But as far as basically, the reason I'm asking is normal, I would feel more comfortable, I think, is allocating 35 and $16 versus the 70,000 you're asking for. And I'm just wondering, because I assumed based on that there was some sort of penalty because we hadn't paid, but if there's no penalty, I'll defer to my fellow council people, but I feel more comfortable doing $35,000, 16.
So I think it needs to be explained to you the way it works.
Well,
Because I think you're not understanding. The reason why we do it is because they know that they're gonna need that 70 or thereabouts. So they're anticipating that amount. Do you follow that?
I do follow it. I do, however, think that it might be better to do it as needed basis. It's how we've been doing it with everything else so far. Why change it midstream, so to
Well,
speak?
No,
Because the bills
we're
would
not
come in.
changing it. It's always been that way.
Mr. Rio, please. We have a motion. We have a second. We've had discussion on the motion.
We're still having discussion.
And we're having discussion back and forth versus on the actual motion. So,
Excuse me, Jeff.
what?
I think he's looking for an understanding, and I'm trying to explain the understanding. And the way the process works is when they anticipate they're gonna go over, it could happen in July, the first month. And they have to plug in a number they think they're going to need. And that's what we're doing right now.
What Louis is saying is they need our approval to go over as soon as they know they're gonna go over.
Correct.
Right.
This goes back 2 months.
Right, yes.
So we're in the rears, and the advice of the solicitor, it would be to plug in this number so that when we get the bill, we have the money in the account to pay. it.
Right.
So, like I said, there's a motion, second discussion on the motion, and if there's no further explanation needed,
I-
we can take a vote.
I would like to make an amendment to the motion. I'd like to amend the motion down to $35,016.
You made the motion?
No, I made.
John made the motion.
He
Well, I'd
can
like
make
to
a
amend-
motion to amend the motion.
Okay, okay, go
He
ahead.
needs a second.
He needs a second. Is there a second to the amendment of the motion? Okay, hearing none, we can move on the original motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Nay.
Okay, one in the negative, Mr. Trombley. Next, we
Okay, the
have
next item is the
town
town
hall
hall
expenses.
expenses over by $3,000. We have money in the Mary V. Quick work, school, maintenance, budget to cover this overage.
Okay, and that would come out of 01510002175. Is there a motion?
I will make a motion, we overspend account number 01560-03-2010 in the amount of $3,000 to be offset from account number 01510002175.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, here we go, aye. Next, we have wastewater. Request to transfer a $17,000 balance from operations contracted 205700002370 to the sludge disposal account 205700002400 to cover anticipated overage. And what do we have those anticipation overage is? What do we think that overage is?
17,000.
I mean, is that it?
Is that gonna get us, so in other words, we don't need it, that'll get us to the fiscal year and then we'll start over.
That should get us to the end of the year for sludge, yes.
Okay,
I'll make a motion. We overspend account number 20570-00-237 to be offset from account number 20-57000-2400.
is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion.
Oh,
So
discussion on.
we had that discussion this afternoon, right? So those funds are there, the
Yeah.
17,000,
Yeah.
okay.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wastewater plant operations. Line item 20-570-00-2375 is underfunded this month by $32,389. The finance director and I request that you authorize the transfer of $32,000 from the general fund. What's going on here?
So this is the bills that we received for the month of June for normal operations of the plant. As we've discussed for a couple of months, that line item was underfunded, and this is a result of that.
And are we confident we have this $32,000 in there? Mr. Marshall, you're part of the team. Oh, it's there, the general fund? Okay,
I believe this is part of the money that we are trying to recoup with
Correct.
with the
This is-
sewer bill,
this
so.
final-
So as taxes come in, this is actually going into the general fund, so.
yes, and this finally closes the door on our
Yeah.
lack of increase on the sewer usage fees of 2 years ago.
I will make a motion, we overspend account number 20-570-00-2375 in the amount of $32,389, and that balance will come out of the general fund.
Is there a second?
Can I just ask a question?
course you
Is
can.
the language of overspending, is that appropriate rather than transferring? I'm just. I
You're
don't know if it's
overspending because you budgeted X amount of dollars and you don't have those.
So from a,
It's basically what we're doing, when you approve these, you're changing the budget for that,
Line item.
that line.
Okay.
item.
So it
it's
was
kind of
either
just a
underfunded or,
question, it's fine.
okay. You good with it?
Yep.
There a second?
Okay, there's, sorry.
It's okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here we go.
Okay, on this sheet, on the other sheet with two items,
What are the sheet? Hang on.
Overexpended budget report?
yes, no,
No, this is the 82,650.
no, the one I,
This one.
This one?
That one.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, the finance department is $1,603 overspent in outside services. We recommend we take that out of the clearing account.
Okay.
I'll make
And
a
that
mo-
would be.
I'll
Ms.
make a
Hanley.
motion, we overspend outside services account number 01520000240 in the amount of $1,603 to be offset from account 0152000-2170.
Is there a motion?
That was it. I'll
I'm
second
sorry, I'm tired. Is there a second?
it. I did.
Thank you for the help. All in favor?
Aye.
Here we go, moving right along.
Okay, and the
Town
last
audit.
one, the last request is that the town audit requires $15,000 to get whole. We recommend taking that 2,036 from the clearing account and 12,964 from the planner's salary account.
Discussion.
Discussion, please.
So wasn't it $25,000 for the town?
Yes, we still have $10,000 in the account. That account has been used for the CLA accounting firm help that we've been getting from,
Which we no longer require.
no, right.
So we
With
actually,
Marshall on board.
so it cost us $15,000 for that, outside service that we used.
Maybe a little bit more.
Mr. President,
Mr. Trombley.
we entered into that contract for the town auditing service. Do you remember what month?
Oh. March, April.
I mean,
We didn't have a contract exactly, more of a as required.
okay.
Is that all?
I think that what the confusion is, when you're saying, say town audit, it's not the annual audit. It was the audit we needed when we lost our previous finance director to get our ducks in a row. Is that what you're talking? Roughly?
Very
It
roughly.
was the outside services that we brought in
Yeah.
to look at our
To
book.
reconcile the checkbooks, to
yeah.
do all of this and do all of that. It's not the annual town audit. That's,
Correct.
when I see town audit, that's what I think, the
Right.
annual
So
town
that
audit.
is a confusion.
But we budgeted 25,000 for the annual order. Okay, and we use that money to fund
The interim
Yeah,
audit,
yeah.
right? So we're not funding what we signed the contract, we're just putting the money back in that we use to do
Correct.
the interim help with the finance.
That's correct.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we overexpend account number 01510002130 in the amount of $15,000 to be offset by $2,036 from account 01520002170 and $12,964 from account number 01560001010.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
good work, Mr. Burlingame. Thank you. Next, we have the tax assessor. Here she is, right up and working. Hi. Go right ahead.
I just have an abatement. They went to zoning last November to unmerge the lot. So we thought that we would unmerge the lot on the tax bill, but we had to wait till the decision was recorded. It was recorded this year.
So that is an abatement of $1,661.78. Is there a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Your first official action
Thank
is
you.
to give money back?
Yeah.
Really?
Usually happens that way.
We're very happy you're here.
Recreation Director. Hello. First month of your season. How you doing?
Good.
Okay. What do you have for us?
So we have a request from the class of 2026 to host a fundraiser at Burrs Hill on October 4th.
You're okay with that, I'm sure.
I am.
Or it wouldn't be here. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have the Public Works Director. Discussion and action on Rhode Island Department of Transportation, Main Street Project, nighttime work versus daytime work preference.
So RIDOT has reached out. They are getting set to go to bid for this project for the Main Street Restoration Project. They want to go out by the end of this month to bid to award a contract in August. They are looking at the council's wish, I guess, if they would prefer nighttime paving versus daytime paving work, restoration work. During the day is obviously going to cause significant delays and traffic buildup. At night, you're going to deal with the noise of construction work all throughout the night. They are willing to do either one, whichever the town prefers, but they
Right.
wanted the council's input.
What they're doing is putting us in the,
Would
Catbird.
one of them have a shorter time to finish than and then, in other words, would they get it done faster
We
if
get
it went
blamed
one way
either
or the
way.
other?
They haven't said, but I would say that the night work would be faster than the day work, just based on the traffic patterns, the significant adjustments that they're gonna have to make to that. Whereas at night work, you have a lot less traffic you're dealing with. It's much easier to close larger portions of the
how
street.
long of a project are they? You have a timeline? Did they say that?
It's the timeline we were given was about an 18-month project from start to finish.
18 months?
Yeah,
But-
they're not, that's for the whole road.
Yeah,
it's
so
not-
that's,
One person's not gonna be irritated for 18.
no, and they're gonna keep moving down. Obviously, it's in phases. First phase is to remove the landscape, as well as removal of all the areas. So it's gonna be in process, like a process throughout the time. We haven't been given much more than the timeline is supposed to be 18 months once they break ground.
We do a little bit of both. I mean, it seems like maybe some stuff would be better served doing it during the day.
Yeah, I
and some
think
might
their
be better
biggest
doing
concern
it
is,
at
are you okay with nighttime work? And I can definitely suggest in the email that, the council is fine with both. If you can expedite the process, then expedite the process. Because I agree, there's gonna be, I don't think anybody wants chainsaws cutting down trees at night. I think that's perfectly fine to do during the day when they're prepping the road, but I think when it comes to that larger process of ripping the road up and bringing in the new base course, they're gonna want to do sections at night to
The grind.
limit
The
the-
grind.
I think they're passing the buck on us and,
I don't know if you've ever heard beep, beep, beep in the middle of the
I
night.
mean, I know that we get complaints when we do our 4 hours of
Yeah.
cleaning Water Street at night, but
Tough one.
so we either have, no traffic flow through the town of Warren, or we allow construction at night. And if somebody complains, the state says, well, your council, made both
I know, it's a
decisions.
no-win situation.
So I think the nighttime is the right time because there's less traffic. I've lived through it in the past, as we all have. It's not a pleasant thing.
I live kind of close, but not right on.
I mean, I lived on the bridge construction, the road construction, all of it. So yeah, the beeping is irritating and you have to buy earmuffs or something and it's
Just down my end, we just went through it about a month ago when they were doing the Campbell Street
Yeah.
area there. That was all at night.
I mean, it's an
I
unfortunate.
mean, it's a longer project, but I think like you said,
Yeah,
it's
I think it-
it's moving in sections that you might have it for a week, you might have it for 2 weeks, but it's not gonna be every day.
You probably get more done at night. than
Yeah.
you do during the day.
And get
I mean,
done
I've
faster.
I've worked on
Like
night.
pull the Band-Aid right off instead of.
It sounded like they preferred the night.
I've
work for this
actually
project.
worked on night paving projects, driving the truck, and you have access to areas without police stopping as much traffic. It's better.
I'd much prefer it be done in daytime, but it's just gonna prolong the problem and that's just gonna create new problems and traffic problems. So unfortunately, it seems like a mix of both has to be it's the only answer.
I think, yeah, so is there a motion to allow nighttime work?
Allow nighttime work provided that the work that's more appropriate to be done during the day, like taking down trees.
Pull and weave.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, I mean, we'll send this out to them with, your nighttime work would be limited to what you need it to be. I mean, if you have,
I mean, I think if they're gonna be doing major lane closures,
yeah,
it has to happen at night or else, 27,000 cars travel that road a day.
And there's been work going on a segment of 114.
yeah, they're not gonna be able to do 1-lane roads when they stop pulling the drainage pipes out and they stop pulling that up. So that's gonna have to be a section at a
It's
time. that they close
unfortunate,
at
but
night, so.
Do they have the metal, the big metal sheets? in
Yeah, they
case
still got
there's
one at the end of my
safety
street
issues
from the
for-
last project.
Yeah, they will, and that'll be their like fix for the daytime stuff. So, I
Okay.
mean, granted, you're gonna hear the sheet.
The roads are gonna be
plate,
beat up and they're gonna be working at night. I mean, the daytime traffic's gonna be impacted either way. So I think, what's the?
Kerry made a motion, I think.
No, I made the motion.
Mr. Trump.
I think I made the motion, didn't I?
I don't know. Let's make a new motion.
I'll make a motion to do it at night. How's that?
There you go.
Second.
Boom.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we get the blame.
Motion to go into executive session.
We're done?
We're done.
I
Wow.
believe so.
I wanted to go
Coming back to executive session and, structuring with it. That we direct, I'll be on the. Oh, yeah, we're gonna go back on TV. Go ahead. All right, make a motion, we come out of executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, okay, I gotta do that, I
Stanley?
gotta do that other motion again, because it wasn't on TV. I'll
Correct.
make a motion that we ask the solicitor to seal the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, and I would like to make a motion to direct the town manager, the solicitor, and any appropriate department heads to proceed as discussed in executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.